What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of the Super Picnic Club. I'm your host, Steve. That's the episode series is called Super Picnic Club.
Oh, is it?
What a way to learn the name.
Wow. What? Could we have maybe workshopped the name?
No. I spent so much time workshopping it.
Here's the problem. You spent so much time to come up with a bad name. Had you workshopped it, it wouldn't be that bad.
All right, let's workshop it right now. What you got?
No, it's Super Picnic Club?
Yeah, because
Really?
Greg's here.
Excuse me, Professor.
Professor Greg is here.
Thank you very much. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have, people.
And because none of this makes sense, we could have had Al on the Galler episodes, but we have Al on the Spain episodes, so
Al is secretly
Well, I have
Spanish
been
and
to
has
Spain
never told
recently.
anybody.
Oh, you have? Is it
Yeah.
exactly?
Well-
Is there a giant hole in the middle of it? And
There is now.
To be honest, I slept over most of the trip over, and then when I was there, I was basically in a hotel for 3 days with work stuff. So
okay.
I didn't really visit it.
Okay, so this is our mini series. I'm planning on 5 to 6 episodes. Going to lay out the structure here, so when you listen to future episodes, you know what's happening. So each episode is going to be structured. We're going to tell you up front exactly what we're talking about. We're going to tell you what we're not talking about. So, for example, this episode, we're going to talk about the Pokedex for Scarlet and Violet, so you don't have to worry about any story spoilers. Now, you might be like, well, I'm not done with the game. I don't want to listen to this. We're not going to talk about any Pokemon that are in Area 0, which is the center of that map.
Yep.
That would be a lot of those maybe special Pokemon out there. We're not going to talk about any of those like new legendaries. We know there are 2, Koraidon and Miraidon. We're not going to talk about anymore. There's a couple legendaries, and then there's all the Pokemon in Area 0. But otherwise, returning Pokemon, fair game. The Pokemon that you see in the overworld, all fair game. That's a lot of Pokemon. There's there's 100+ new Pokemon in this generation. I for over a year didn't think they would go past the 1,000 in the Pokédex because I thought they would save that for Gen 10, 1,000 Pokemon, 10 generations. Plus, you would think that they would want the 1,000 Pokemon to be special. I think we can maybe talk about that Pokemon because even though there's not final Pokédex numbers, I think everyone kind of suspects what the 1,000 Pokemon is. So I guess we can
Yeah,
talk.
based on assumptions. Assumptions that haven't been true in previous games.
So yeah, we're going to be talking about Pokemon. The second episode, we'll be talking about the Titan. Third episode will probably be Team Star. Almost said Team Flare. Fourth episode will be the gym leader stuff. And then a fifth episode would probably be like kind of everything put together. We might need 2 episodes for that. That's why I say like 5 to 6, because we're still trying to keep these episodes 45 minutes. And this is the first time they're going up on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, this is the first time we've been doing these miniseries since X and Y. And this is the first time we're doing a video miniseries. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening to the audio podcast, enjoy. Don't crash your car. Keep driving. Keep driving.
You're missing my perfect outfit if you're not tuning into YouTube.
If you're listening to the audio, I hope the dishes are going well. I hope your car's running smoothly. I hope you're really hitting up that Stepmaster at the gym. So, there, we got our audio people worked out here. Let's start with the basics here. Starter Pokemon. I want to talk about Sprigatito, Floragato, Meowscarada, Fuecoco.
This is going to be the worst episode, isn't it?
Fuecoco, I'm saying a lot of these out loud for the first time.
Crocolore.
Skelly
Skeledirge.
Skellydirge?
Skeledirge. Skeleton
Not Dridge.
Dirge.
Oh,
because it
'cause okay.
sings.
Quaxley, Quaxwell, and then Quackaval.
Quackaval.
That's how you say that. So for the longest time, I wanted to be like, 2 legs, 4 legs, gay duck.
And that is what it is. 2 legs, 4 legs, and a gay duck. The gayest duck they've created, and we all love. We love our little timid gay boy, growing into the fine pride dancer that he has become.
Al, I'll start with you. A lot of starters over the years. How do we feel about these final evolutions?
Okay, right. Well, I think we can all agree that Kokakvil, or however it's said, is fabulous, fantastic, great. Quaxley was meh, but evolved into fantastic final evolution. Skeledirge, fine. I don't think you could have done any better than that unless you just did Fuecoco but bigger. Like, I think the problem is that Fuecoco was too good that I don't think they could have done something better later on unless it was just massive Fuecoco.
Which I mean, in my opinion, would have been better.
Well, yes, yeah, it's fair, but
it should
anyway,
have just gone back, but just bigger.
I like it being Ghost, though, but anyway. Meowscarada, I don't really have any feelings for. Sprigatito was pretty boring in the first place. The only thing going for it was that it was cute, and it loses that, so I'm not massively bothered about it.
Greg, what are your thoughts here?
Bad, and bad. Like,
what?
These three starters do not do it for me. Of them, the Quaxley line is consistently the best. But like Fuecoco starts kind of cute and then just gets worse. And Florigato is the best of the three. It is the cutest and one that makes the most sense. The other two are just okay. Like, I think this ranks in the bottom of my starters list.
Wow.
Like, I wouldn't put any of the three in my top 10.
You put Galar pretty high, if I remember right.
I love the Galar ones, yeah.
Okay.
Except for Sobble.
You don't like Inteleon?
I like Inteleon. We're pushing Sobble off to the side. We're gonna ignore Sobble.
I think for middle evolutions, I think Florigato is really great.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I looked at leaks, I thought it was the final for a hot second. I think Crocolore is actually a real good upgrade from Fuecoco. It looks like a little sombrero, but it's actually like a little nest.
Yeah.
And I think there is a lot of creativity in Skeleridge of like that nest finally hatching, and then the little firebird runs up and down his beak.
Thematically, of having the crocodiles that have their little bird that goes into their mouth and cleans up their like real life, like converting that into a real thing, it's cute. Also, to make them each some sort of entertainer is really interesting because we have the magician, we have the singer, and we have the dancer. The magician is like a weird addition because you generally don't go to a concert.
What would your third one be? Singer, dancer, and
not magician. MC. Like, it could have had a top hat. Could have been a ringmaster because they all kind of look like they belong in a circus. Magician is just a weird add to that lineup because that's just not.
Have you read Skeledirge's Pokedex entry? Because it turns out the firebird, has its own soul.
Yeah,
it's not technically part of Skeledirge.
Is this like Kamala in the log, but the log's shiny?
No, but this is confirmed by the Pokedex, right?
Yeah, well,
this isn't some weird fan theory.
As much as the Pokedex confirms things, because that thing's full of lies. But
Fair.
yes, because the bird changes shape, it becomes an attack with Torch Song, which I will say, the move Torch Song is a brilliant name for a move. It hits on many levels. I like that move a lot. I love Torch Song. I just am not I'm not a fan of the final kind of weird clowny. It kind of here's my problem.
What's the deal with evolution?
No, it makes me think. It makes me look like he's a juggalo, and that bothers me.
So he's from Michigan.
Yes.
Got it.
The Michigan Pokemon who's a juggalo.
I think Quaxwell is like the weakest of the middle.
Quaxwell is not great.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's like the standard middle Evo of like being forgettable, and I think Galar and maybe another gen really had good middle Evos. I think that was kind of a shining thing of Galar is like Reboot, probably still one of the top 2 all-time middle evolutions.
He's a hooligan. No.
We get the whole duck actually turning into peacock. I don't think anyone is going to try to debate that. Quackaval is a
Quackquaval.
peacock based on its beak and its obvious peacock tail in motion, which you can't see in the screenshots like that.
Right.
Yeah, this is one where the leaks I was really not impressed by, but when you see it in game, you're just like, oh, okay, no, I've completely changed my opinion on this.
A million
It's
percent.
just fantastic. Especially quite often will like hype you up if you're running around and spinning, like out in the overworld if you've got them out. The interaction is so good.
Yeah, and they all have really great moves. Meowscarada's signature move always crits. Somebody's gonna have to fill me in on those crocodiles. Quackaval's move is pretty much Flame Wheel. You hit really hard with water type move and your speed gets boosted, which is actually really good for him because his base
charge.
Flame charge, sorry, because their base speed is like I believe 85. Meowscarada's base speed is like 123. It's very high. I don't know what Skeleridge's signature move does.
Torch
The fire
Song.
song?
It boosts special attack.
But yeah, it was their special attack.
So yeah, I like them.
I like them. I just
think-
don't love them.
I think at this point, we might have to be checking on all of our our community members that really wanted this cat to stay on 4 legs.
They are not. They are not well. Believe
I
me,
think
I've heard from them, and they are not doing okay. And that is valid. They should not be doing okay.
I mean, you look. You got Pyroar. He's on 4 legs. You got a Persian. They're on 4 legs. I mean, you got cat. You got options out there. I don't mind Meowscarada.
That's like saying you have M&Ms at home, and they're knockoff. Or say we have Oreos at home, and they're Hydrox. It's like, no, I do not know. No, they're not as good, Ma.
We also need to check on the Chinese Zodiac people. They've been stretching for years, honestly. And I don't know
I
how
did
they're
see
going to
someone try and justify this one. I can't even remember what they said because it was so crazy. It just
something
left my
like
mind.
crocodiles are related to snakes or something.
I think it was something weird
It's
like
a
that. And you're just
reptile.
like, you are absolutely stretching. Like that makes no sense. You can
Ari.
stretch anything into whatever you want this way.
They've been stretching for 20-some years.
So why don't we just say a crocodile's a dog then, right? Like what even is the point?
Yeah. Well, you
Well,
know.
I mean, there are a bunch of good dogs in here, so you might as well just slide it
Yeah,
in.
that's true. That's true. A lot of dogs, and a lot of birds this generation.
A lot of dogs, a lot of birds, and a lot of one Evo fish.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I for months said Lechonk was the Wooloo of this generation. Everyone loved Wooloo. Everyone loved Lechonk. As soon as Double showed up, people boxed that Pokemon, moved on to a different thing. Oinklone. It's like cologne, right? It's oink and cologne.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oinkalone.
Oinkalone is what I've been saying.
We have just like Pyroar. Pyroar is getting the most attention they've ever received in the history. Like Pyroar, there's a male and there's a female version. Just quick thoughts on this.
I really like it. It's still in my team when I'm coming up to the end of the game, and I think it has a good kind of. I think some people were disappointed. I've seen a lot of classic TikToks of people like evolving something and going, "Oh, this is going to be great," and then they're disappointed with it.
Oh, of course.
And I don't know what people were wanting out of this. Like it's like Lechonk but sassy and bigger. Like I don't see
Yeah.
what do you expect? Here,
Yeah,
right? Like
just everything bigger. Hey, what
Yeah,
if
exactly.
they made a game where your Pokemon got bigger?
Bigger.
it's like if you want to play with Lechonk, play with Lechonk. You don't have to evolve it. You can keep it the way it is, and that's perfectly valid.
I mean, I think it's cute, but I did box it the minute I saw one particular Pokemon, and I'm like, well, you're out.
I like how I think it's the male one has like a little fork. Like his curly tail turns into like a fork. I think that's pretty cute.
No, that's the female. The female gets.
Oh, the female. The female's fork. Okay. They you know, Gen 2 got a lot of love. A lot of Evos from Gen 2. We got Farigiraf, which we probably actually don't have to talk about. But what about Dunsparce? Greg,
Right,
this
can I just point out?
Yeah,
right,
let me
people
get
need
Al's
to
opinions
pronounce
first
this-
before Greg.
People need to pronounce this correctly. Everybody's been saying Dunsparce. There's no first N.
There's no
It's
first N.
Dunsparce.
It's
Dun.
Dunsparce. Right? I absolutely love this. It is the most trolly evolution ever. I find it a bit weird that they have two versions of Dunsparce. I don't know why they didn't just do another Dunsparce. Like that would have been even funnier, but I like it. It's funny.
Greg, you've been waiting 20-some years for your boy to evolve.
Yep.
Are you satisfied?
All right, so we're gonna go through this journey. I love it because it's so dumb and it's so fitting for Dunsparce. Because if it had turned into something cool, it wouldn't be Dunsparce anymore. So the fact that it just turns into Dunsparce, but with extra sets of wings, I was like, I hate it. I love it. I will have to get a shiny of it. Because it's so bad, it's good.
I think the pun is redundant. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's supposed to be the pun.
Redundant.
I actually didn't notice. I when you battle somebody in the game, they have one. I think most people have most of the new Pokemon. That's how you see a lot of them. Is there an actual difference between the 2 and the 3? Is it an Evo thing?
It's a random Evo thing. Like, it's the same with the mouse. You'll randomly get the other version. There may be something more behind it that they haven't discovered yet.
Right, like the data miners are like,
But,
if
yeah.
you do it from 6 to 7, that's what generates
No,
the
so
randomness.
I believe if we're able to talk about this, I believe they know it's completely random, but it's a 1 in 25 chance of getting the 3-segment form.
We believed a lot of
that's really
things
cool.
were random, but they turned out not
Yeah.
to be. So, but right now it is
Sure,
stated
there's
to be
always-
random.
Right.
there
There's
has to be
always
some
a chance that it's
seed
wrong.
of how the random
Right.
starts.
Of course. But
Yeah.
it's random in so much as like Wurmple is random, as far as can be seen.
Oh, right. That's a good example. Wurmple random. Okay, cool.
I think that's the only other one that actually is random. Is Wurmple.
Yeah. think so.
Well, Pokemon Go, if you want to evolve Clamperl, I guess.
Yeah.
No,
Or any of the
we're not
80s.
talking about that. Insanity.
So I don't know how to say this one. Tarantula. The spider.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like tarantula, I think.
Yeah,
so it's
I
like
feel like
tarantula, but it's round.
And then it evolves into Spidops, which is I
Love
guess
it.
spider and like Call of Duty ops, right? Like whatever.
No, it's a top.
It's a top.
The bottom is a string.
Oh, I can't see. His arm is blocking it. I think the spider is super cute. I think the evolution, I don't totally dig. I'm sure somebody digs it.
I
The
love it.
face reminds me of the series of stickers that existed, like I think back in the 80s, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it had those eyes. And the minute I saw it, well, the first one I saw the spool of string with legs, and I said, "We're done. No, we're out. I hate this thing. This is the worst thing I have ever seen." And then I saw its revolve sword. I said, "Oh!" And then they made it worse. They made it worse. They made it into the thing is, it's like people are like, "Oh, it's an ogre, like a cyclops," and I'm like, "Well, then it should only have one eye," which it doesn't.
Yes,
It's
it
also
doesn't.
based off of a top because the bottom is this. It pulls the string to wrap around.
Yeah, I see that now. I didn't notice that the first time.
I thought they should have gone with maybe a spool because it's like a ball of yarn and then a spool of thread, but they didn't name it that.
That's what
They
I
did
thought it
ops.
was.
Because it is a spool of thread. Because if you've seen it out, it's threatening to kill people
But
by
it doesn't
stretching.
spin like a top.
No.
He gets real low and crawls.
Yeah, because the trap spider is supposed to come up behind you and then garrote you with its weird thread. Because if you see it in the wild, it's like pulling the thread menacing at you, and I'm like, I hate this thing with a passion. I hate it.
Yeah, you gotta have a couple
love it.
duds. The Gen. I think this is the first dud up to this point.
No,
Quickly
I'm
followed
not
by
having
the
it.
second.
Not having it.
You
Not
like
having
it?
it.
Is it on your team?
I love it. Yeah, he's on my team.
Okay.
Yeah, best
Nah.
bug type in the game.
I will say when I played in New York, the spider was not in any of the area I explored.
What did you see that you couldn't talk about?
I couldn't. Okay, so the big Pokemon that knocked me out, and I think I said on the podcast, I don't love it, but I know other people will absolutely love it. Was the Flamingo? Flamigo.
Oh,
And I
Flamingo is the
didn't-
greatest thing that's ever existed.
We'll get to we should go in order just so we get every Pokemon. But when I saw a lot of the new Pokemon, like the Minecraft Salt thing, I also saw early. They had Japanese names. So when I ran into Lechonk, it said Lechonk, and then when I ran into Flamigo, it just had a Japanese name. So I had no clue what it was called. Also, I couldn't talk about it, but. Yeah, so the tarantula thingy is all scattered around, like, I'm doing air quotes, Route 1 and Route 2 and Route 3, but it was scrubbed from my playthrough, so I never saw this one at all. We have Nimble and Lokix. Lokix? Is that Lokix? Lokix?
Depends if you consider it low key or not.
Yeah. Nimble, I adore it. I think it's so cute and so great. I like both these Pokemon a whole lot. Like these would probably be my bugs of the generation of these two. I don't know. Nimble to me is just really, really cute. He's really tiny. I like the way he moves. I like his design. I like his color scheme. I think the Evo is great too. I dig him. I didn't put him on my team. But I don't know. Good name too, Nimble. I don't know. He's good. Greg's shaking his head. You don't like him?
Nope.
You don't like grasshoppers? I'm not a
Nope.
big bug person, so that's
I
why.
mean, here's the thing. Nimble is kind of cute for a grasshopper. When Lokix is walking around, I'm just like, why is there a weird robot? The problem is that it looks like
it
the
looks
machinist.
like it should be steel, but it's
Yeah,
not.
it looks like it should be, but it looks like the machinist robot in Final Fantasy 14. So when I see it, I'm
Machinist
like,
robot.
you haven't played. Machinists now get a robot that deploys.
I only got it when they had a turret.
Right, no, they have a full-on robot, and it looks like that, and it bothers me every time. I hate it.
I don't hate them. I don't really have that any feelings towards them. The only thing I found interesting was Lokix is quite terrifying in the overworld.
Yeah.
Will chase after you very fast.
The robot
and
is coming to
that's
kill
about
you.
it. That's about it.
Lokix
I don't
gives
really
me
have any
big
other feelings.
Ben 10 energy, like it applies.
Yes, that too, and I'm not a fan.
We have Roller. I don't know how to say his name.
Rem-
The
I
Dung
think
Beetle.
it's Relor, I think.
Relor, and then Rebska, which is supposed to be like a
Rabscus, because it's a scarab.
Yeah.
Finally, we have confirmed Dung Beetle in the game. Rolling dust.
Yeah, I mean it has a really good shiny.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's also confusing, right? Why is the dung changing color?
Kabbalah 2.0. I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. Because you
thoughts
see them
on-
out in the wild, they're rolling up the dust on the ground. Why
Correct.
is this shiny one
Because-
suddenly going to have
Well,
gold
because-
dust? It doesn't make any sense.
Because it found a nugget on the ground, like you do. So
All
instead
right,
of
fine, I'll take that
finding
one.
dust, it found a nugget in the desert, and then it becomes the golden scarab when it finds the Eye of Sauron.
Yeah, I get the golden scarab kind of thing that they were going with the shiny. They're fine. I don't know. They added a bunch of bugs this gen, and
Yep.
I'm sure the bug fans are. I'm sure some bug catcher out there is over the moon. They're very happy that they got a bunch of bugs.
I mean,
They're
I
fine.
like the fact that it finds an evil eyeball that stares at you. Like inside the ball of dust was somebody's eye, was an evil sorcerer's eyeball, and it is now staring at you.
We have Greavard. Grievard. Which,
Yeah.
the biggest complaint here is they just put a Litwick on its head. I think it pays off when it... I didn't have a problem with it. I think it pays off when it evolves into Houndstone. Houndstone to me looks fantastic. I absolutely love it.
So bad.
I kind of like it, but I don't. I'm a bit confused as to why the fire turns into a tombstone.
We got a duck evolving into a gay peacock. We can't.
No. I know. I get that, right? But like, what's the story you're telling us here, right? Like, and I quite like the rest of the design. I don't like the tombstone on the head. I would have preferred it to be like a bigger candle or something.
The idea that I think is kind of going off of the freshly dead you're honoring because it's a fresh corpse, so to speak. And so you're honoring them with a candle. And then when it evolves, it has been in the ground for a very long time. You have created the tombstone. You buried it because it's just a skeleton at this point. So I think it's meant to show the progression of grieving, freshly honored to you have a place to go, memorial, a place to visit, a tombstone. I don't like it.
Okay.
So my love for Grievard died.
So we're
died with the dog.
I mean, thematically, I think they hit the mark then. So we're 0 out of 1 for Greg and dogs.
Yep.
Real quick, not to sidetrack, did these games not come out in China? I know they're very strict about skeletons. And so, like...
They are very strict about human skeletons.
Oh, I thought it was
not
all skeletons.
I know that most of the things revolve around human remains, not necessarily animal remains. So
Because
it is
there has
possible...
Lots of games that have had to change specifically a character or two in China because of skeletons.
Yes.
It did come out in China.
I don't think this falls into that because it is an animal skeleton and not a human skeleton, which is why
They did apparently... Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just saying they did apparently change the story for the Chinese version, though.
Oh.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, actually.
We can't talk about that yet, though.
We have Flittle and Espathra? Espathra?
Yeah.
Espathra.
Look, this
Flittle's
game really
boring.
trying to...
Espathra's great.
It's really trying to appeal to the gays.
Absolutely. Not
only in Pokemon designs, but the characters throughout the world.
Character design. Look, they finally have the LGBTQ community weighing in because we got the diva, the moment, the icon, Espartha. Who everybody's like, oh, it's Lady Gaga, which I kind of see, but the first time I saw it, went, oh, it's got Sia's haircut. We all have a diva singer that we all associated with this bird. And it, like, you look at Little Flittle and you think, you're hot garbage. You're bad, and everything about you is atrocious. And then you're like, but I will stick it out for you to evolve into our super diva. And it does.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they did the ostrich.
Fine.
If there's
fine. How
if there's
dare
anything
you?
that this generation has done, it goes, what Pokemon haven't we done? Check. Moving on.
Oh, yeah. And we're here for it.
We can kind of skip for Farigiraf. I mean, it is what it is. We talked about it before. Wiglet, and they did it. They just did it.
Perfect.
Wug Trio.
No notes.
They did it. As somebody who used a Wug Trio for 20 hours, it's not good. I tried so hard. I think it has an HP stat of 35 or something. It doesn't matter what attacks it. It just faints.
Good shiny, though.
Yeah, so look,
It's bad.
I don't know what else to say. You either like the joke or you don't. It really comes down to that.
I didn't like the joke the first time, and I hated it the second time.
Okay, now starts our journey of 800 fish.
800
many
single
fish?
evolution fish for no good reason.
We'll skip this one for now. We'll go to Veluza. Maybe is how you
Veluza.
say it. Again, for those maybe not paying attention to my Twitch streams, I decided to do a whole water monotype playthrough. Kind of hard when you just only have surf and waterfall and aqua jet. Like, you don't have a lot of options, but there's a lot of water Pokemon, so it made it possible. I put this on my team. You would think that this would be fast, because when you're in the water, it zooms to you faster than Sharpedo does in the Isle of Armor. It's only base speed 70. It's not particularly fast. It's water psychic. Again, without looking at it, you would think like, oh, it's like a steel type Pokemon. It looks like a metal fish. It's not. I like it. I think it's grown on me because I was not forced, but I was like, I want to use the new water shark. But like, it's really cute in the picnics, and it's like fainting animation is very cute. I could see maybe in 15 years it gets like some weird evolution like Basculin, right? Like,
yeah, it's fine. I was like, oh, it's a fish. Okay.
Yeah. It's quite angular. I think it looks better from far away than it does up close, personally.
Yeah, it kind of just feels like it should have a gimmick or something, and it just really does. I guess its gimmick is like it just crits, like, but like. So did Pokemon in the last 20-some years have that also gimmick of just critting. Speaking of gimmicks, we have Finizen.
Oh, boy.
Who evolves into Palafin.
Yeah. Love.
And if they did it, 26 years later, we have now hit the Dolphin check mark.
Yep. We had hit it with Gorbis, so let's...
We
had the river dolphin in Gorbis, and now we have the ocean dolphin in Finizen.
Finizen is a play on Citizen, which doesn't make a whole bunch of sense until it evolves into Palafin, which looks exactly like Finizen. They just put a Care Bear heart on it.
Yeah, it's got a Care Bear stare. I love this thing.
If you have not played with a Finizen, it is like dragging around a Magikarp and a Feebas. It does not hit hard. It does not do anything. It has a terrible move pool. The gimmick here is okay. So a lot. I want to clear this up because I have seen about 500 TikToks that do not understand how to evolve this Pokemon. They're all like, you need to be in co-op. You need to be this level. You need to have somebody else with another Dolphin. You don't. I will explain it to you right now. In order to evolve Finizen into Palafin, it evolves at level 38. So you can start this process at 37. You connect to the Union Circle with a friend, and it doesn't matter what the friend is doing. They can be on the other side of the map. They do not need a Pokemon out. They don't need a Finizen in your party. They literally just have to show up, and you can say, go away. But as long as you're in the co-op mode, you just give your Finizen a rare candy from 37 to 38. It will evolve. There's no other, like, you need 18 Dolphins to be surrounded. You just 37 to 38, just use a rare candy or battle something. Just a side note, if you're battling with the Let's Go feature, it doesn't evolve that way. So just give it a rare candy if you want it. You want to do it. You don't want to suffer any more levels from 30. Like, just give it the rare candy and just get it over with. Now, in Zero form, it looks exactly the same. If you hadn't looked at leaks or spoilers like me, I did look at some. I didn't see this. You're like, why did I drag this around for 20 hours? The ability, no one knows how this ability works either. I'm going to explain that to you.
I think we figured it out. But we're still not 100% certain. The code's complicated for this sort of stuff. But it looks like if you have it out in battle and then you switch it out and then you switch it back, that should do it.
Correct. Yes.
Some people are saying some weird stuff around it. Oh, it has to, the Pokemon that you switch it out to has to lose a certain amount of HP. It doesn't seem to be the case.
No. I've used this Pokemon from start to finish now. I can tell you its life story. When it evolves, it learns a move called Flip Turn, which is just a water U-turn. Flip Turn is not a new move. It has existed in the Isle of Armor. It was one of the moves that you can get at the dojo. Just water U-turn. You do not need Flip Turn. What Al said is 100% correct. You can just switch it out and switch it back in. That's all you need. You can use Flip Turn.
Makes that easier.
Yeah, there's situations where you wouldn't want to use that, especially in like a double battle.
Water absorb.
You can manually flip it out. You could baton pass it. You could get Whirlwind. You could get Roared. You can hard switch it. There's tons of ways that you can activate. You could probably put red card on it or whatever, or eject button or whatever to activate it. Reasons why you wouldn't want to use flip turn: takes up a move slot. If you're in front of a Meowscarada, and it not only outspeeds you, it will guarantee cricket you, and you are also weak to it, so you will die. You could get in a double battle, you could get easily faked out and then double attacked into it, which you want to do. So there's tons of water absorb, like Greg said. There's tons of reasons why you would want to manually switch. I'm not saying so. That being said, when it switches, it goes from zero form to hero form, and it comes out as Palafin, which I believe is a play on Paladin.
Yep.
And then it is the superhero dolphin, which then solidifies why Finizen is called Finizen, because they're like citizens among people. It's a play on Superman. It also evolves at level 38, which I believe the very first Superman comic came out in 1938.
Oh my word. That's ridiculous. I think this is an interesting idea, and I really like it, except the whole having to switch out and switch back in, rather than just like, if you could just do it as any switch in, right? You didn't have to do the switch out in the first place. So if it's the first Pokemon that you send out, then it's not going to have it. But then if it switches in from another Pokemon, then that, I think that feels, it's a whole
It's
extra
because its base stats are so high. It's almost as high as Slacking's base stats. It's higher than a lot of pseudo legendaries. I mean, its attack stat is 160. It gets a signature move, which is just literally better Aqua Jet, Jet Punch. It's the only Pokemon that can learn it. So, if you were in the time of Gen 3 like Greg and maybe looking at rumors or early leaks, you'd look at Slacking and you're like, oh my gosh, look at how powerful. This happened in Pokemon Go, where Pokemon Go players were like looking at Slacking, and that when it was coming, and they were like, Slacking's going to completely destroy the meta. And like they didn't understand like Truant.
Truant.
And like Niantic made Truant kind of work in Pokemon. Well, Slacking is useless in Pokemon Go. It's so bad because Niantic made Truant work. So this is the what's the word for it? This is like the disadvantage they gave Palafin is like you have to at least switch it.
Yeah, that's fair. It just feels a little bit meh to me in that aspect of things, but in general, I think it's fun. It's another one of the fun ones where you get to see TikToks of people being disappointed when it evolves.
Yeah, who did that? I really like the design and everything. I think it's really great. I like the play on Superman, and I'm not a huge comic book person. Greg, this is all you. We got Smoliv, Dolive, and Arbolova. It's an olive. Arboliva. So when I saw Arboliva, I was like, this matches Zarina's energy. Maybe this will save the Smoliv line for Greg.
And it did.
It did.
Actually, Dolive saved the line. I like Dolive a lot more than I like the third evolution, but I like the third evolution in game when it's got its arms up and it looks like the victory frond from the Olympics. However fast it has to take me to get rid of Smoliv, I will do it. How fast I can get it to 25 so it evolves cannot be fast enough because I do not like Smoliv. But Dolive is so super cute, such a great design, absolutely adorable, 100%. Another gay triumph, no notes. Love it.
Is the last one supposed to be like what is it supposed to be? Besides
it's a tree.
It's just an olive tree? Is that it?
Yeah, it's an olive tree, but it's also puts its arms up like the victory crown that you used to get at the Olympics. Way back in the day, the grease that they would wrap around. So it's got that feel when its arms are up. So yeah, it's multiple things. But yes, it's mostly a tree.
We got Caspa Kid and Skolvillain, which is a play on the Scoville scale or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skolvillain, perfect. Capsakid, meh.
Bad and bad.
No. Skolvillain is amazing.
Bad.
Perfect. Love it.
There.
No notes. No, wait, I do have a note. Give it a third one with the third head. That's my note.
Maybe we'll find that there's a rare chance to evolve a third head.
Isn't this the first fire grass
This
ever?
is the first fire grass.
Which I mean,
Well,
like
technically, it's grass fire.
having. Well, there's one person listening that was about to write in the
know.
YouTube comments that it was technically grass fire, which I think is like really fitting for like incredibly spicy hot peppers, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if this would see any competitive play. Like, what is grass fire even weak to? Rock still, right? Flying.
Flying.
Not ground.
I mean, it's the hidden ability, if we can talk about it, that they found.
Moody.
Yeah, fits its face.
Yeah. I would I think the disappointing here thing isn't the design. I think the design is fine. I mean, like it's like it's supposed to be evil looking, whatever. I think the disappointing thing is for a grass fire type, it doesn't have like a unique ability to go along with it.
Yeah.
It just has chlorophyll, insomnia, moody. Belly bolts. Tadbulb and belly bolt. Tadbulb is fine. It's just like it's whatever. It's the like Tynamo / Poliwag. It's
Yeah, I think it's fine as well, but I want it to be bigger.
Yeah, I
Like,
want
I
it to
think
be
it
bigger.
would. I think it would have been more fun if Tadbulb was bigger, because, well, not least because there are so many tiny Pokemon in this game.
This
Make some bigger
generation
Pokemon,
is
please.
tiny, tiny, tiny.
But also like it doesn't feel to scale with Bellybolt. Like it's got the same fake face, right, or real face. I can't remember which one's the real one. It's got the same face, but their scale is wrong, right? So it gets bigger as it evolves, like the face gets bigger when it evolves.
Yeah.
Feels weird.
But your face got bigger when you evolved.
But it does it though, because your head stays pretty much the same size.
Isn't it like
That's
your
not
ears
true.
are really big?
Please
and you
don't tell me
grow-
it's not true. I know it's not true.
You grow into your ears, right?
You grow into your ears.
Yeah,
That is
your
also
head is
not a-
bigger than percentage-wise of your body
Right.
than when you're bigger, but it does still get bigger.
I know Greg's not gonna like these next two. I think they're great, but maybe Greg will surprise me. We got Varoom and Revaroom.
Amazing.
Revaroom.
Perfect.
Vroom. They're so good. Greg,
100% no notes. These things are awesome.
Oh, what? You
Yeah,
like
these things are awesome. love
I know
these
you're not a
stupid things.
huge fan of like mechanical things.
I'm not a huge fan of mechanical things, and this is
This warms my heart. This makes the episode worth it that you love these
this
ones.
is the one exception to my hatred of mechanical things because it fits the storyline really well.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, the car is a Pokemon.
Right.
I was told strictly by Nintendo, never
well,
to
the
confirm
car,
that.
the car
It's
isn't
half
a
a
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
It's
Right.
multiple Pokemon in there apparently as you do through the story, which we'll get to. But I think for a region that they decided to say our main theme is cars, this fits. Like Paldea, we have cars. Nobody else has them, but we do. And here's Pokemon based off of cars. When I saw it, I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. I get it. I like it. I think it fits. The poison type fits. I think it makes sense. I think it fits the theme. I'm like, I don't have any notes with it. I won't use it.
I love that one of its abilities is slow start, which is really great and totally makes sense.
Yeah, its hidden ability is slow start. And then it gets filter as its hidden ability from slow start, which is also very good.
Again, I think these both are really great, and they're great in the overworld. They got a great shiny as well.
Yeah, the shiny is really good.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with
Yeah.
these. Al, any more thoughts?
I think you're right about the overworld. They are so fast but not in a terrifying way. Just in like, oh, another one got me. Great.
Yep.
You don't feel like they're going to kill you, but you
No.
have to keep a watch for them.
We have Oathworm, which is a plant.
Earthworm.
Earthworm?
It's like earthworm.
Yeah, like Earthworm. It's weird because it does look like a worm, and then when the animation, it has like the wiggler arms that pop out of it, which is. I thought there would be more here. I thought it would evolve or something. It's just a worm.
It's just bad.
Yeah. It's fine.
I know some people really like it.
Yeah, they're wrong.
Yep. It's just Steel type 2, and there's no secondary type.
Which is weird. Why not ground? It's
why not
literally
ground? But
designed
whatever.
off an earthworm. I don't
don't know.
understand. Whatever.
We have, I don't know, maybe it'll grow at me. We have Tandem Mouse and then Mousehold, which,
Amazing.
Not only we got to appeal to the gays, we got to appeal to the polyamorous people here, because you're putting two mouse families in a daycare and you're getting another mouse family. It is real. Let's not ask any questions. I love Tandem Mouse, though, and I love Mousehold.
Tandem
I
Mouse
think
is
they're
super
really cute.
Yeah.
One, if you look really closely, one is wearing pants, one is wearing a shirt for whatever reason.
Oh, I never noticed that.
I think that's pretty great.
My only issue with these Pokemon is the shiny is terrible.
Yeah.
Like
That
literally
could
the
be
only
a theme
difference
for
is the
most of this
clothes,
region.
which
Yeah.
are really hard to notice. I don't.
Yeah. We can talk
Better
about
shinies, please.
the bad decisions they made around shinies.
Do we know the 3 and 4 thing? Is this the same as just
It's-
the
it's- So far, it's random.
Dunsparce?
It's random as well. I don't think we know like if there's any weighting like there is
Right.
with the Dunsparce. But yeah, it's random again.
I like these are probably my favorite, honestly, of the generation. Are these mice? I really think they're super cute,
They're cute. They're not.
and their
They're
names
fine.
are really good because it's like
Yeah.
It's like a tandem bike.
Right.
Yeah, so
They're
that's like
working
the
in
play.
tandem, and then they're a household.
I think their leak in the video a few months ago was perfect because they look like a placeholder because they're so like
Right.
white and generic. They look like it was just a random placeholder image.
Yeah, I think so. I think the like accidental there's new Pokemon in the compass in the corner. I think now this
Yeah.
was on purpose because you
Yeah.
would have never guessed that the two mice were supposed to
one.
be together
Yeah,
in one
exactly.
Pokemon the
Yeah.
entire time.
And the tail didn't matter, like I said.
Yeah, the tail. The tail didn't. Well, I think the tail is the one on the shirt and the.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think they're great. So we have Cetitan, and Cetitan did have a pre-evolution. It was Citodle, which is like a play on toddler.
Toddle.
Citodle, which is super cute. Holy cow!
I love it. It's cute.
They
I
did
don't
do the
think-
shiny
I don't
justice
think
here.
I don't think they're different enough. I keep
They are.
trying to figure out which one is which when I see them out.
No,
out
I
and
think
about.
they are.
I mean, one has one horn and the other has lots of horns.
Yeah, but you have to remember that, right? Like it's not different enough in my opinion.
When you
Just pure
grow
ice
up,
type.
you get more horns. Everybody knows this.
Yes. You grow into your
You
horns.
grow
You
into
grow
your
into your
horns.
horns. We just have a couple more here. We have Frigibax, Archibax, and Baxcabular, which...
Okay, Frigibax, Artabax, Baxcalibur.
Yes.
Please get it correct. You're going
That's
to
what I
insult
said.
my new child.
Oh, you like
You
this
will-
one too?
Oh my god, this Ice Godzilla? Yes. 1000%. Now I'm not Spencer. But I love me guy Godzilla. And Ice Godzilla, I kid you not, I spent 7 hours trying to find this. It's just so I can have it. And I found two, one that has a dark Terra type. I will change it, whatever. But I've literally spent hours finding this because it is the greatest thing that has ever been created.
Wow.
I love it. If anybody
Interesting.
speaks bad about it, you will be kicked out. It is in the top 10.
Wow.
I'm figuring out who
Wow.
I'm kicking out. I don't know yet, but it is amazing. I love Ice Godzilla, and I will cherish Ice Godzilla forever.
So I didn't think anything for me could pass. So if we're talking just pseudo legendaries, the dragon of the generation or whatever, I didn't think anything could surpass Dragapult for me. They got big shoes to fill for Dragapult. I adore and love Dragapult on so many levels. Baxcalibur for me does not come close at all.
Bill, you're wrong.
And it's Godzilla, right? Like it's obviously
Ice Godzilla.
Godzilla vibes.
What? It's Ice Godzuki and Ice Godzilla. What more do you want from a Pokemon?
I want Al's opinion.
It's fine.
All right, give me back your Pokedexes. This professor is revoking your licenses. Get
no,
out of my
no,
region.
Greg, you did not say if anybody doesn't say it's the greatest thing. You said if anybody speaks bad about it. I'm not speaking bad about it. I don't have any issues with it. I'm just not in love with it.
I like the middle Evo. I do like the middle Evo. I think the middle Evo has a lot of character to it.
Oh, okay.
I don't like the first
I think
one.
The middle Evo is the most boring thing in the world.
Oh, I like the middle one.
He's a little chunky boy with a beauty mark. Adorable.
He is chonky. That's true. I do like a little chunker. Okay, let's talk about Tasaguri, and I gotta scroll back up here to Dondozo. I like saying the word Dondozo. Maybe the leaks assume that this would have been like a Wish Cache evolution. It is a giant sushi fish whale. We got a lot of whales, but
there's a lot of whales now.
There's a gimmick here in double battles where so there are 3 sushis Tasaguri. There are 3 of them. There's an orange one, a pink one, and a yellow one. They're like different forms, like stringy form, curly form, something else. They don't have anything particular, right? Like the yellow one isn't stronger than the orange one.
Right.
What it does do is if you're in a double battle with Tasaguri and Dondozo, because of Tasaguri's ability Commander, Dondozo will eat that, and depending on which color it is, Dondozo will get a boost. So like an attack boost, a speed boost, or I think a defense boost are the 3 based off the colors. Tasaguri also has 3 different shinies. So there's a yellow, a brown, and an orange. I know that does the normal colors are pink, orange, and yellow. So that's a little weird. I mean, that's purpose. Shinies are purposeful at this point. They are purposely giving us. Look at Tauros, for example. They know what they're doing. So I do feel like we have to talk to these in a pair. I like them both. I think they're really great, and I think the animations and everything in Tasaguri. His little thing makes like a sushi chef on his head.
Oh yeah, really... I mean, it's fine, but Tatsuguri is adorable, 1,000%.
Yes,
want a million of them just all around me. Love it.
Yeah, I think they're fun, especially like how they integrate into the story, which obviously we can't talk about just now. But I think that makes me like it more. I think if it was just on their own, they'd be fine. But with that story element, I think it was really good.
Yeah, and them being together but not together is great too. We have Palmy, Palmo, Palmot. Do we call this a Pikachu clone now that we know it evolves?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
the Pikachu clone.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's electric fighting, which is besides this is the first electric fighting I believe ever.
I think so.
Zeraora should have been electric fighting.
Right.
It's not. It's fine.
I think it's fun, and not just because it was my first shiny in the games, right? Not just because of that. The evolution method from Pomo to Pomot is interesting, but too long. Right?
Way too long.
I like that you have to walk it to evolve it, but it seems not to be cumulative. It seems to be just like in one walk.
Yeah.
And it's 1,000 steps.
Yeah.
And I just sat there counting, and oh my word, it takes a long time to walk 1,000 steps in this game. That was not fun. And it's so easy to get it back, to go back in the Pokeball accidentally if you walk too far away from it, or if you press the button to do it and you're in the wrong direction, or just like 100 steps, fine, do 100 steps. 1,000 steps is too much.
I had to walk 1,000 steps to change you into his evolution, and I don't care anymore.
We're really trying to get that Pokemon Go tie-in. We have Wattrel and Kilowattrel.
Love.
Here's our journey of birds. And then we have Bombirder. We have Squawkabilly. We have Flamigo. We got a lot of birds here.
A lot of single birds.
I like them all. I don't think any of them are like huge standouts. I think Wattrel has that like really dumb bird look going on. You know, you compare it to the Spearow or the whatever bird of the generation. You not a 3-stage bird, but a 2-stage bird.
It's a good
like
bird.
a Swellow or Tailo. Electric flying, great type. I mean, like again, I think they're the birds from Finding Nemo, right? Like the mine.
Yeah, there's seagulls. Seagulls into albatross. Seagull/albatross. It's the size of an albatross, and it's kind of got an albatrossy face. But yes, It is a lot of seagull in there.
Yeah, they're fine. I've not really given them much thought, to be honest.
Those ones. I think they're super cute, but I'm not using one.
Bombirder just is
Just a stork.
Come on,
we
it's
got
not-
we hit
no,
that
no,
stork
you're-
checklist, but check again.
No,
check
no.
the.
No, you're pronouncing it wrong again. It's not Bombirder. It's clearly Bombardier.
Bombardier.
Right? 'Cause it's meant to be like
Bombardier.
It's meant to be like Bombardier. It's Bombardier.
Bombardier. Doesn't it have like it has like move that KOs itself, right? I think. I think the first time I ran into one, I was like, oh, I guess I'm not catching you. Goodbye.
It has parting shot.
It does have a new hit
Oh, it has
ability.
memento.
Rocky.
Yeah, it does have memento.
Yeah, Memento. Rocky Payload. Squawkabilly, there are 4. This was another Pokemon I saw early. It was in the mini map screenshot. I think the green one was. There are 4 colors. I can't remember what the 4 colors do.
I think they're just colors. I
they're
don't
just
think they do
colors,
anything.
aren't they?
do they?
I thought they did
Yeah.
something. Not like competitively, but...
I mean, the
should've took
colors are
notes.
based off of like green like cities, blue likes forests, yellow likes fighting. Like their Pokedex or something, but I don't think their colors actually do anything to them. Not that I've seen at least.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything
Okay.
other than just the different Pokedex entries.
I think this
Better
is maybe
Chatot.
the most controversial Pokemon, Flamingo.
Flamingo's the greatest thing that's ever existed.
It is it is not
oh
fairy.
man, really?
It is
Wow.
it is not fairy. It is flying fighting, which is the same as Hawlucha.
Are we just doing that thing again? We're saying every pink Pokemon should be fairy, right? What about
Oh
it?
yeah,
means
yeah,
that it
yeah,
should be
yeah. That's the
fairy?
stereotype, right?
Like
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, if
Fighting
you
is
think
a bit.
though,
It's
even
weird,
if-
but the flying
even-
makes sense.
I feel like even if they didn't show a flamingo, if you were like, hey, think of a flamingo Pokemon, what would you want it to be? I feel like most people default to like, oh, it should be like fairy.
No, I think most people defaulted to be fire.
Fire?
Flamingo.
No, I was
Oh,
thinking
like
flying
flame.
water because it's like I know
Yeah.
flying water is boring and overdone, but like it's a water bird.
I mean, they could do like fairy water. There's only 2 other ones, Primarina and Tapu Fini, right? Maybe there's a third one. Anyways, they remove a letter. It's Flamigo, and I think this generation, whether or not you agree with some of the designs, because the designs of a Pokemon are always going to be preference,
Yeah.
right? Of whether or not you like spiders or birds or dolphins,
Yeah.
or how they did those. I think this generation really nails it with names. And like, even if you're like when I first saw Flamigo in my preview, I was like, I know people are gonna like it because it's a flamingo, right? Like, we did it, we hit that checklist, and I was like, it didn't really like I couldn't like say because I was under an NDA that like it's like you saw a flamingo, like what does it look like? What's the cool thing? And it's like, how do I say that it just looks like a flamingo?
It just looks like a flamingo, and that is the greatest thing they've done. It's just a flamingo, and I love it.
and the name really sold me on
Yeah.
it. The name is so good. And to be fair, like just because it looks like a flamingo, I don't think that's a big deal. We have Rattata, we have Pidgey, we have a rock with arms. Like we have so many. Like it's just this kind of thing, and that's part of the charm of a lot of Pokemon.
So I think the design's fine, right? I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's fine. I get that people like it. I'm not gonna. But the name, I think, is a crime, right? This name is as bad as Seal, right? I do not understand. I do not understand how people like this name.
It's
I
your
looked at it, it
amigo.
popped up,
It's your
and I
amigo.
saw its
It's
name
your
was
friend,
Flamigo,
Al.
It's your
and I
flying
just went
friend.
and I went. I laughed. I was just like, this is ridiculous. They put the least thought possible into this name.
They
It's
put the
terrible.
most thought. It's your flying
No.
friend,
Nope.
Flamigo.
No,
Fly, it's great.
you're reading too much into it. It's not.
You're
They
not
just took
reading
the N
enough
out.
into
It's-
it
it's
because
your
you have a
flying
cold,
friend.
dead heart.
We have I can't say any of these names. The Salt Minecraft Pokemon.
Knackley,
Knackley?
Knacklestack, and Gargantuneckle.
Garganackle.
The-
Gargantuneckle.
The first one I think is great. The last one I think is okay. The middle one just screams Minecraft to me.
Yeah,
but
it's Minecraft,
Why-
Minecraft.
No, it's not. It's Mario Minecraft. The
Oh,
first
it
one
is.
is clearly a Mario power-up.
Yeah. It turns Mario into a salt.
for the record, I don't
He
I don't
can't
think
move.
like when me calling it Minecraft, I don't is not me like hating on it. It just reminds
Yeah.
me of
Yeah.
Minecraft. I don't
Yeah,
think that's a
was
bad
not-
thing.
I know people who love it. I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that love it. We have Glimmet and Glimora, which I still don't know what this is supposed to be. I mean, it's like floating in a
It's
cave.
like an ore. I think it's very much like what was it called? The not Diancie one.
Carbink.
Yeah, Carbink. I think it's just meant to be like an ore.
Yeah, I thought it was psychic when I first saw it because it was just kind of floating there
Yeah.
menacingly. This is a Pokemon I have to come back to in like a month and give you like more thoughts. It's just
I don't care for it.
it's weird.
Just the cave that they live in, by the way, they can have a mass outbreak. That is the worst mass outbreak in the world to do. Don't
oh,
do
it's
it
not
because
it's
you
not the
can't.
shark.
I've not done the shark, but no,
I think-
I'm not. I had that yesterday. I like did 10 like picnic resets and I gave up. I was like, I'm not doing this because you cannot picnic in the cave. You have to go out the cave and then swim a bunch and then do it and then come back. It's terrible.
We have Strudel, the pre-evolution of Grafai. I think it's cute. It's good.
Cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really cute. Knocked it out of the park there for pre-evolution. We got our Journey of Dogs. We got Fido, Doshbuns,
Doshbun.
Mastiff, Masbostiff. Greg, you were 0 for 1 on dogs. Give me the dog update here.
All right, so I'm going to ask you the question. Of these 4 dogs, which one kicked Lechonk off my team?
Mastiff.
Mastiff.
Absolutely, Mastiff. Love that poor little sad bad dog. Oh, he's so cute and angies.
I thought you didn't like sad Pokemon. Like you didn't like
He's
Sobble.
not sad.
He's not.
He has got a traumatic past. He's an angry pup that needs to be reformed. He just needs love, and I gave him love, and he became a super good boy.
And you like the evolutions of these dogs?
Yeah, I mean the mob boss thing is a little overdone because you have Honchkrow, but I'm like, oh, the design is cute.
Nothing on the Bagel dog. The what?
Fido and Dashbun, they're good evolutions. Like the evolution makes sense, and its well-baked body is a very good ability.
Yeah,
like
it's great.
It fits theme, but of the 4 dogs, like I'm like, oh, that's okay. There are much better fairy types. So
Yeah, I like Dashbun, but yeah, I think if we're going to pick one to talk about, Mastiff and Mabostiff.
Mastiff and Mabostiff are-
Mabostiff
oh my god.
better. Definitely.
Dashbun feels like a Pokemon that is like infiltrating Eevee fans. Like they
Yeah. This is your bread evolution for Eevee.
like it has enough characteristics where like Eevee fans are also on life support right now.
Yeah.
Th-
But Mastiff and Mabostiff are brilliant. No nuts.
we have Bramblin and Bramblegas, which are
Why are there 2 of these?
because it evolves.
Why does it evolve? And okay, right, if it was going to evolve, why does it evolve into just slightly thornier, right? If you're going to evolve, right, a tumbleweed Pokemon, make it like a massive pile of tumbleweed. Don't just make it a slightly it's no.
It
But
gets eyes.
It's not slightly thornier. It gets a smile and a nose.
yeah,
It's true.
No.
It's true.
No.
It's another one of those
No.
Pokemon where you have to walk to evolve in the game, right?
And
I believe.
this is bad. I do not like this.
Yeah.
I
I think Bramblin is good, Brambleghast bad.
It's the same. I would assume like they do make Pokemon based on other Pokemon with the intention of them being similar but not the same. Obviously, they did this with Wiglet and Diglett. I
Right.
think people can point to Love Disc and Alola like, why don't they evolve? Like, just because things look the same doesn't mean. Like, I get it. I do think that this might be a tie to Delmise. Now, people are like, Steve, Delmise is an anchor. What are you talking about? No, you're wrong. Delmise is the seaweed.
Is the seaweed on the anchor?
That's why it's Grass Ghost. It is possessed seaweed that takes over the anchor. So I got real big Delmise vibes from this. Delmise could technically take over like a boat, right? But Delmise would still be Delmise. It's the seaweed. So, anyways, I think it's cool in that aspect, but I agree. I think the evolution here is a little disappointing. I think Bramblin had like, oh, cool, tumbleweed, great potential, and then it's like, oh, just bigger tumbleweed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even bigger though. It's just
No,
more.
it's just got a smile.
It's boring.
So we have Gimme Ghoul. I think a lot of people thought Gimme Ghoul was maybe like a Sableye of this generation or something, kind of a standalone. It does evolve into how do we say this?
Golden
Go.
Goldengo. Which
Something like that.
has the ability good as gold. I think I saw some people compare this to Gumby, which might outdate some.
No, it's not Gumby. It's worse. It is the string cheese mascot, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
So
love it.
the speculation is this is the 1,000th Pokemon because it takes 1,000 coins to evolve Gimme Ghoul into
It takes
this.
999.
Well, yeah, okay, true. So there could be Pokedex 999. We don't know who 1,000 is, or this is the 1,000th, right? That's because
Yeah.
we don't
I
actually
think-
know the Pokedex order.
We don't. I think if you take the Pokemon in their regional dex order, it's not this one, which is there's another assumption that people are making. We've not talked about that one yet.
Is that Agent? Is that Area Zero?
I think it was Tinkatink. Or one of the Tinkatink line is if you go in order would be 1,000, but that they haven't always done that, so that's an assumption.
By the way, I love this Pokemon. I think he hits that so silly, so dumb, like
Yeah,
all
I
gold.
agree.
Like I'm very into it.
I hate it with a burning passion. It is the string cheese mascot worse. It is bad.
No, better, in
1,000%
gold.
bad.
Nothing can ever be
when I
worse
saw
because it's in gold.
I saw it.
He's
and I
good
thought,
as gold. He's good as gold.
He's bad.
He's
bad
good as gold.
He's bad as a gold-based economy. It's just every time I look at him, I guess it's either you think of the string cheese mascot or the wiggly balloons outside of car dealerships. Both bad. It's just bad.
I didn't think of the balloon. I know the balloon guys. you're
every
talking
time
about.
I
didn't
see him,
of
I
that.
think he should.
I
be
think I
just
like him
doing
more
this.
now, Greg. Thank you. Good as gold.
It's bad. It's so bad.
We have Tinka Tink, Tinka Tough, Tinka Ton.
Tinkaton.
Amazing.
Win.
Who thought we could get Amy from Sonic in Pokemon?
Yeah.
I mean,
Who
you
thought-
look at this Pokemon line. There's some Pokemon that you just look at and you go, people are gonna love this.
So, whereas we had a whole thing serving the gays, we finally have a powerful, incredible lesbian coming in to get work done. Tinkaton, I moved many things off my team to put a Tinkaton on my team. This Pokemon is incredible. This is another top 10er. Love Tinkaton.
It is 100% female.
Yep.
Just putting that out there. Jinx is 50, or it's not Jinx. Mr. Mime is 50-50. What was the other? Gorbis is 50-50. Just for there was that weird thing where Pokemon Go people thought like, oh, Huntail's the male one, Gorbis is the female one. But is there 100% male that I'm missing? I mean, we have
Boros.
Hatterene was 100% female in Galar, and then Grimmsnarl was 100% male. Am I missing the male here?
I don't think there's an equivalent, no.
There's no counterpart, at least.
Not that I've seen.
We have Charcadet, which is another Pokemon I saw early in the preview. I actually just thought it was going to evolve into Armarouge, but this is the split Evo here. Now, misinformation around this as well. These Pokemon are technically version exclusive in the sense that the item
It's
is
like
version
Applin.
exclusive. Yeah, it's like Applin.
Yeah.
So if Greg collects 2 of the items needed for Armarouge, he could keep one for himself, and then he could put one on, a Shroodle and trade me the Shroodle, and then I could evolve it. So it's very Applin in that sense.
Yeah.
They'll probably do an event
Charcadet-
at some point where you can get the other one as well. They did that.
Yeah, I'm
with that
sure.
one.
Charcadet is my precious child, and Brent saw it and said, I love that thing. It's so
you
cute.
know, Greg, you came into this. I thought you were gonna hate way more than you let on. You seem to like quite a bit here. I mean, no good as gold, but what is?
Oh, get out. I am revoking your Pokédon license as the official professor of the reason. Get out. Go back to Kalos. You do not belong here.
We have. Go ahead.
I think that I'm going to say I think it's pronounced Sharkaday rather than Charcadet, but we'll see. But I
Why?
think that is the best of this line.
Oh, you get out.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I said this before. I don't really care for the evolutions, but
I like the
I'm not a huge
evolutions quite a bit,
Bisharp
but
fan
Charcadet-
either.
Charcadet is adorable.
Speaking of Bisharp, I guess we'll just talk about King Gambit. King Gambit.
King Gambit.
Hey, look, Bisharp evolved. That's pretty cool. No, I don't think anyone's upset about that. Bisharp fans, the three of them out there, overjoyed, I'm sure. I'm not sure if anyone has ever encountered one of these in the wild or in the game, but he comes out of his Pokeball sitting on a rock, which I think is just fantastic.
And
I
he's a
don't
samurai waiting
and
for
I-
you to challenge.
and I don't think that the screenshots or just looking at it on Cerebi really does it justice until you see it in battle. And I feel like it makes it even more intimidating that he comes out of his Pokeball and he just sits down.
Yeah, he knows that it's a one and done, baby.
Yeah,
You didn't
so,
even see my sword move and you're dead.
So yeah, I'm very happy. Like Bisharp got an evolution. I do like that they're revisiting these Pokemon. I mean, like that was a big thing of Gen 4 is like, let's give a bunch of Pokemon third evolutions. Magmortar, Togekiss, Electivire. And so they're kind of starting to touch back and clean some of those Pokemon up. I know we're skipping around, but speaking of third evolutions, probably one of the best, Annihilape, which is the evolution of Primeape. Did you guys read its Pokedex entry? It pretty much.
I haven't evolved one yet, but
Okay, so it is
my
Fire
word.
Ghost. It is the evolution of Primeape. The Pokedex entry, I'll just paraphrase for it. It pretty much says that Primeape got so mad it died.
it died.
Which is
Wow.
absolutely incredible.
Yep.
Probably like I looked at the design. I was like, I like Primeape if I was a kid. Like Annihilape looks great. Great name. Again, cannot stress
Great
the names
name.
are so good. But then the Pokedex entry just nails it. That oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
I love Annihilape a lot.
Good evolution method as well.
Yeah.
I did not see what that was. I guess is it an evolution method where like you'd have to look it up?
Yep.
Probably.
Kind of,
I do
yeah.
think you would probably you might end up doing it. So it's use Rage 20 times.
Rage
and then level up.
Fist.
Um,
Oh, so it's just like a
specific.
Legends thing of like Stantler was use
Yeah.
Shield Bash or whatever Stantler's
Yeah, yeah,
thing
Yes,
was.
exactly.
you need to have Rage Fist, not say, "Oh, why would I take this move?" You need to have it and then use it 20 times to level it up.
Got it. And then we have Toedscool and Toedscruel.
I
Toedscruel,
mean, Wig Cool and Wig Cruel.
which these looked like forms, like
Yeah.
Wooper. They're not. They're ground grass with a brand new ability, and I thought these were so bad until I saw them in motion, and then I was like, I'm back in. I'm back in.
All right. But two of you, place your bets on where I fall on this thing.
I'm gonna say that you hate them, but
I'm going to say you like them.
I'm gonna say you hate them, but when you saw them move, you were like, okay, I'll tolerate them.
Yeah, no, I think you like them.
I like them. I like them. I liked them when I saw them. I liked it when I saw like. Well, again, this is one of the things where like it's so dumb. I'm in. And then when I saw its little floppy legs walking around below a tree, I'm like 1,000% sold. This thing is so dumb that I have to use it.
Did we only get one? Is it just Wooper? Is Paldean?
Yeah.
No, there's Taurus as well,
and
Oh,
Taurus.
yes, you're right. Tauros. We didn't
which is
talk about
technically
Tauros.
3. So it's
Yes.
technically 4 Paldean
Yeah.
forms.
So yeah, there's Tauros, the water Tauros, which is water fighting, and then the fire Tauros, which is fire fighting. And
Yeah,
I think
and
the
those-
water
the-
and the
the fire-
fire are just more rare. Is that it?
They're version exclusive and more rare. I think they can only show up in like one of the two areas you can get the Taurus. And they're version exclusive.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I should know that. I made a graphic about it.
I mean, at least like the water version the water and fire ones technically have a slight difference, so you can see them.
Yes, they have a little blue, a little red.
And their horns are different. Like the fire one's horns stick out straightforward like a long horn, and the water one's horns twist like
Like a swirl.
a ram's horn more, but off to the sides. They look like weird
I think they did
faucets.
Tauros justice. I think Tauros was like a knockout here for this region. I mean, when they announced that Spain, that everyone was like, Tauros is getting its dues. Yeah, and I think it did great. I maybe would have liked to see, if you're doing Tauros, maybe touch on Miltank too.
Or finally stop making them all male.
You've already touched every single Gen 2 Pokemon except Miltank, right? Like Dunsparce, Girafarig, Murkrow's been like...
Well, Skarmory. Does Skarmory have one?
Oh, Skarmory, yeah.
Nothing
Well, Skarmory
would
kind of
save
got...
that Pokemon.
Yeah, Corviknight really just threw
Blew it out of the
Skarmory into the
water.
ground there.
Yeah.
And then
So
is
yeah,
our
is
last
it really
one
just
Clodsire?
Skarmory and Miltank at this point in Gen
Yeah.
2 that hasn't been touched?
Yeah,
I
think
mean,
so.
as in like the single like solo like
Yeah.
evolution.
I think so. Look, I don't like Gen 2. I don't know.
Speaking of Gen 2, Wooper evolves into Quagsire, and then Paldean Wooper evolves into Clodsire.
The perfect Pokemon. Just amazing. Like, it couldn't be any better.
Clodsire is incredible. He's great. He's a good
Absolutely.
boy.
It's fine.
He has... How can you say that Toadstool is so dumb it's good? Clodsire is the essence of that.
Yeah,
Look at
he's
his
not-
face.
Clodsire's not dumb enough. It
I
just
don't
sits.
know. Have you
It
seen
just
him
sits
in motion?
there. I've seen it in
What-
motion. I'm like,
What I love about it is it's basically just Quagsire, but like black and or brown and vertical.
Yeah,
like, the
yeah,
face
yeah.
is exactly this. It's just,
Yeah.
I just love everything about that Pokemon.
Clodsire is very much I feel like there's always a Pokemon in a generation that you get early enough that just ends up being a staple of your team because of its typing or because of its ability or because of its moveset. And Clodsire hits that for a lot of people. Like, I wouldn't have won this if it wasn't for my Clodsire, or I wrecked this area of the game because of Clodsire. Like, I don't think a lot of Pokemon in this generation fill the void that Clodsire does. And I think we could probably spend a whole episode being like, these are key Pokemon in the generation, because it felt like everyone had those Pokemon because they were genuinely good.
yeah.
And I'm not saying like Clodsire is like absolutely amazing in stats or anything. It's just that its typing and its ability, assuming you got the good ability, which is water absorb. It's Clodsire is like a contender of just like usability on a team if it's a really good void. And I think that's all of them besides Agent Zero or Area Zero. I keep
Area
saying
Zero
Agent
stuff.
Zero. Too much Animal Crossing. Is there any?
Oh, we didn't talk. I mean, I guess we didn't talk about Cyclozar, but presumably we'd already done that in previous.
Yeah, Cyclozar
Yeah.
is
You've been
exactly what you
skipping the
thought it
ones that
was.
were. Yeah, that's fine.
I was skipping the ones that we kind of touched on.
That's fine.
Yes, Cyclozar doesn't get. Well, I guess we can. Cyclozar doesn't get an evolution. It
Nope.
is just what it is, and there was lots of debate of like, this is the obvious like must evolve, and I was like, really? You think it doesn't evolve? It's
Yeah.
there.
It sits there.
We
and
can't
it's
go further than that without talking story. But yeah.
Yeah, I think there's speculation of like theme with Pokemon. I mean, like the Pokedex just straight up confirms Carbink and Deancey being related, even though they don't evolve into each other. I think that was the example I used too, right? Like,
yeah.
but that there's there's speculation for, and I'm sure there's DLC that might expand on it. Who knows?
Yeah,
Like,
who knows?
But yeah, a lot of dogs, a lot of birds,
A lot of fish.
Fish,
A lot of single fish.
one cat
Greatest
that
ice Godzilla that has ever existed.
ends up standing on two legs.
Pinkaton,
I do
10 out
not
of-
think that this is the strongest Pokedex.
No.
I do really like Galar's Pokedex. I do. Gen 5 has an obvious advantage just because of the amount of Pokemon. There are duds in Gen 5. Gen 6 and 7, I think, were good Pokedexes, but incredibly small. Gen 4 really heavily evolved on Gen 1 and past Pokemon. Gen 3, great refresh there. I think a lot of people would look at Gen 3 as a lot of great Pokemon. So it's hard to say. Like I think for me, and this is what I've said, throughout the weekend of playing on Twitch, and I will still continue to be playing on Twitch if you want somebody to watch, and once you finish. I know people are like not watching because they're trying to get the story. Totally understand, right? You want to experience that story yourself. But for me, there wasn't a lot of like, this Pokemon is instantly moving into my top 10, where other generations have done that. Like, oh, Gen 6 came along, boom, we're putting this in the top 10. Oh, Gen 7, putting this in the top 10. Obviously, Cramorant for me really solidified like an all-time favorite. And there's a lot of other Galar Pokemon that like I would easily say like, this is top 10. My top 10 probably constantly rotating. But I like so many of these Pokemon, and even Tandemaus and Mousehold, which I think for me are the ones that I really, really do like. They would barely make my top 10, I feel like. Like, I think they're good. But maybe I just need more time in the region. So that's my final thoughts on the Pokemon here.
I think Tinkaton is in my top 10. I think my Ice Godzilla is probably in my top 10. But that's it. Like, I'm not in love with a lot of the other ones in this region enough to be like, I want to make sure these carry forward. But I think Baxcalibur and Tinkaton are great additions to Pokemon.
Al, what are you thinking here?
I think so. I haven't sat down and done the list recently because it's going to take me some time, I think. But I suspect there are a few from here that will get into my top 10. But yeah, I'm not. It's a difficult one, right? Because for every Pokemon you put in, you have to take one out.
Right, and it has to be that good, right? It has to be good to start bumping.
Exactly. So it's going to take some more time with them to make sure they're worthy of that. I'm not going to do it after less than a week. Thank you very much. But there are definitely contenders for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it has been so cool, playing with other people this past weekend and watch people gravitate towards certain Pokemon. Like I have seen people gravitate towards Gardenackle, the salt giant thing.
The salt giant.
And I've seen a ton of people gravitate towards Tinkaton, and Charcadet, and Bombardier. I know there was somebody very excited about Bombardier. Tasaguri was a big hit that I saw. So, you see people gravitate to certain Pokemon, and it's really cool. It's really cool to see why people like certain Pokemon. So there's a lot here. It is also funny seeing people very upset that the dolphin evolves and then not understanding that there's a gimmick there, right? Like it's hiding its secret identity until it comes back out, which it's super clever. So
I will say, I think this generation has certainly thrown it out of the park hit it out of the park, not thrown it out of the park. That's
I was like, what is this? Steve is infecting your brain.
Yeah, I'm really
hit it out of the park with
polluting the
shinies,
show.
I think. You can take or leave a bunch of these Pokemon, but I think most of the shinies are very good.
Right.
Unless they're purposely bad, like Tandemaus and Tauros.
And Tauros. Can we just take a accessibility moment to say my PSA to Game Freak, all of you, Legends of Arceus, you had a sound in the overworld, which helps 1 million people who have visual impairments. And before you come into the comments to say people who can't see shouldn't play games, I have a visual impairment. If you hadn't noticed, I'm wearing glasses.
I would hope no one comes into the comments for that. I mean,
Oh,
like,
believe me, they will.
For probably the last 6 or 7 years on the show, I'm like, well, I would say actually since Pokemon Go, where they put a little sparkle in the name of the Pokemon, which was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Even because I have a friend who is colorblind, and they have texted me
I have
multiple
a lot
times.
of friends who are colorblind.
And they were like, hey, I just found this shiny in X and Y, and they send me a picture of it, and they're like, can you just confirm that this is shiny or not? I can't really tell. And that could be completely solved by having a little symbol in the name of the Pokemon. It's almost like they did this in Legends Arceus. They did it.
Copy
And
and
not only
paste
did
from
they
Legend
do it
Arceus.
in Legends Arceus, they even put it into the box in Legends Arceus, and they changed it. Like, they did it.
Oh, it's
so-
the most frustrating thing to get your first shiny Pokemon in this game, and then you look in your party and it doesn't look like it's shiny. I just do not understand why. They're sprites, right? They're the easiest thing you have the shiny sprites. We know you have the shiny sprites. They're in Home. Pokemon Home does this.
has them.
We
I
know
don't
you have the
understand.
symbol. It's okay. You can sit here and you can say the logistical reason why it doesn't sparkle or it doesn't make a sound is to make you pay attention or to make shinies harder, right? I'm not defending that, but that is probably the logistical reason of, like, you have a person flying, all three of us have probably done this. You start Legends, you get to the camp, you go up into the sky, and you just do a full circle, and you go, no shinies. And a lot of the times, if you had the shiny charm and you did that, you would find one or two. You would find them very quickly. And we can have a whole episode about the whole debate of whether they should be more rare or less rare or whatever. The end of the story is they want them to be rare. Your level of rarity may vary to what Game Freak thinks. But there is still a huge accessibility issue in not only Pokemon games, but Nintendo games in general. There is no colorblind mode. And if you cannot program a colorblind mode, which is still baffling to me, just like that is worth the development time for any video game.
Right.
Even Pokemon Unite has a colorblind mode, and I turn it on, and I wouldn't consider myself colorblind, but like I have turned colorblind mode on in Destiny, in Apex Legends, in Pokemon Unite, probably other games I no longer play, because I love that stark color difference.
Right.
Like
the contrast makes it easier for you to see.
Right. And
Here's
maybe
the
it is
thing.
because I'm getting older.
Right. And as you get older, it gets worse. But like I had a friend, I went and played in and like, oh, you have a shiny Smoliv. Arbolive. And I'm like, no, you just can't see the subtle color. It's purple, not black. Because they knew that the change was black, but of course their color blindness registered the dark purple as black. So I'm like, no. And naturally you wouldn't do that because you can't tell. And they got rid of the sound. They got rid of the mark. They just decided accessibility should go out the window, and it stinks.
So many of these shinies, even the good ones, are hard to tell separate from each other. This is the thing. And they may be good. And if you take Arboliva as an example, I think it's a great shiny.
It is.
But I can't see images in my head, so I have really trouble remembering what colors things wear.
I mean,
and
it's
it's only
not
the
just-
really obvious ones that I get.
It's not just visual impairment. It's people who you'd have to compare things. There's a ton of people who can't hold the image in their head to know what the difference is, and without a symbol, without a sound, without something else, accessibility just tanks, and it's super frustrating. Also, accessibility thing. Pokemon don't close their eyes when they're asleep anymore. Why?
They close their eyes in camp. It is
Why?
mind blowing.
Why?
I have watched all 6 of my Pokemon fall asleep in camp and watch their eyes well, except for Gastrodon because he doesn't have eyelids, but their eyes close.
Yeah.
And so, like, we had problems with the game. I'm very glad we were able to do, and I know people are exhausted about hearing the problems because at the end of the day, the game is genuinely fun.
It is genuinely fun,
and the gameplay loop they did is great. And there's so many good things, and then there's everything bad. And the people, I'm enjoying it, and even I'm exhausted of hearing the bad things. But they do exist.
They exist,
and it screams to me that this game was like, every game is rushed. I used to work on websites. Every website I ever worked on was rushed because people want a website out at a certain time, and you have to make cuts. You're like, you want this feature? We can have it, but not at launch. You want this? Well, do you want A or B? Because I can only do one before the date you want. So they took 3 years on this game. I don't think anyone's doubting that it's very ambitious for what Game Freak has done. But like when you see things like the eyes don't close.
Right.
They used to close, and they close in the camp. So we know that it's programmed in. Yeah. It's like, what else did they have to cut to get this game to be delivered? I just the symbol next to the name would probably alleviate a lot of the complaints, not all, because you know people miss the sound, people miss the sparkles, but like that there's still a huge accessibility issue there for a lot of people. And I will sit on the show for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. We need colorblind modes in every video game.
We do.
And again, that's not a Pokemon problem. I can't think of a Mario game or a Zelda game or Bayonetta or Xenoblade. I don't think any of them have colorblind modes, and they should.
They should. It's frustrating. All right, we've gone way too long.
We've gone way too long. And yeah, thank you for listening. We used to do the Twitter thing. Who knows if Twitter exists anymore? Greg, thank you for being here. Al, thank you for being here.
Professor Greg, thank you very much.
If you want to follow, on other places, or if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, tell me what your favorite Pokemon is in the comments. That would be really great. I would love to read them. I always read the comments, even though sometimes it's regrettable to do so, but I do read all of them. But I would love to know your favorite Pokemon in the comments below on this episode. Otherwise, I thought, here, we're going to workshop this on the fly. I thought of the goodbye for, Super Picnic Club, as we're called.
Oh, no.
Hasta la vista.
Oh, no. Okay, fine.
All right. Greg, you in?
No.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hasta la vista.